Hey there! My story is a little different from the stories you might have seen on MSA. Wanna know why? 'Cause it has a ghost in it. I'm Beatrix, and unlike other kids who are born crying, I was born smiling. Yep, and that sort of freaked out my mom and the doctors. Come on, little angel, it's time to cry. But instead, I cooed and laughed. Mom had so much fun playing with me and making me beatbox. That's the reason she named me Beatrix. Needless to say, growing up, I had a great life, and my parents absolutely adored me. They made me feel like I was the center of their universe, especially Dad. We were like two birds of a feather. He was an amazing singer and owned a studio. He often took me there, and I was always in awe of the place.
Daddy, can I be a singer too when I grow up?
You already are, kiddo. In fact, you're so good, you even make crying sound like a melody. I always thought that nothing would ever break us apart and our family would stay together forever. I was so wrong. One day, Dad told Mom he had taken on some debt and was unable to pay it back. From that day on, they started fighting over the smallest of things and soon ended up getting divorced. Dad left the city and never looked back. I was heartbroken and hoped he'd come back for me, but he didn't come. Even on my birthday, I felt shattered.
Mommy, why didn't Daddy come? He promised he'd come for my birthday. Please call him.
I did, sweetheart. He must be busy. You have me. Come on, let's cut the cake.
No, I want Daddy, or else I don't want this cake at all.
After that day, I was asking Mom for Dad all the time, but he changed his number. And then to make things even worse, she married again. I was nervous at first when I met my stepdad, but it turned out he was an absolute gem. Not only did he paint my room in the exact color I wanted, but he also treated me to ice cream every day and spoiled me with all the things I asked for. Every night when Mom used to tuck me in bed and sing me a lullaby, he'd come too. Life was finally good again. And then my half-sister Jennifer was born. Mom and my stepdad only had eyes for her, and it seemed like it was all Jennifer all the time. I started to get jealous of her, but one time when she was crying and Mom and my stepdad weren't around, she gave me the most beautiful smile ever, and I melted.
Aw, aren't you the cutest thing in the world?
I tried to lift her, but Jennifer ended up crying again, and right then, my stepdad stomped into the room. He looked really pissed. I just put her to sleep. Did you wake her up? Did you make her cry?
What? No, I was just...
Don't yell at her. She's just a kid. Then they started fighting over me all the time. When my stepdad said I was always causing trouble and should be sent away to live with my real dad, I felt like someone punched me in the gut. That's when I felt like I wasn't a part of my own family. But I kept quiet and didn't complain. And since no one even knew where my real dad was, I wasn't sent away. But then I noticed something strange was happening. I couldn't go outside anymore. Mom even had to homeschool me for a month. Thankfully, I grew out of it eventually with Mom's help. And as Jennifer grew up, she loved being around me. We were pretty close, even though she was competitive and wanted Mom's attention all the time. Like, when I'd come home from school and run to hug Mom, she'd jump in and hug her first, then talk to her and keep her busy until I gave up and would go to my room. I didn't mind, because she was still very small. But one day, she broke Dad's phone by accident when we were playing with it.
Beatrix, please don't let them know it was me. It was an accident. Please, please, please. I don't want them to be mad at me.
I couldn't see my baby sister that way, so when Mom entered the room and saw Jennifer crying, she assumed I had done something. Mom, we were playing, and I accidentally broke Dad's phone. Why can't you be more careful, Beatrix? Why are you two in his office anyway? Don't you know how angry? At that exact moment, Dad rushed in and turned as red as a fire truck. He began yelling at me and Mom. Look at what your daughter did! I told you she's only trouble! Your daughter? Oh, wow, that hurt. After that fight, I began distancing and avoiding my stepdad every time I saw him. Since at home I had so many problems, school was a relief. There I was part of the music club, and singing always felt like a joy. One time when I was in 12th grade, I was performing in a school play, and the lead had to sing a lullaby but forgot the words. I didn't know them either, but I jumped up and sang the same lullaby Mom used to sing me when I was little. When I was done, there was silence. Oh, shoot, I must have sounded bad. But then, all of a sudden, there was a thunder of applause, and I was stunned.
Oh my God, Beatrix, you sounded so amazing!
Oh, stop. You're just being nice. Wait, who are you?
I'm an ad producer, and I'd like to work with you.
But before I could even finish my sentence, the man handed me his card. I called him a couple of days later, and then I found out he wanted me to sing a jingle for a Christmas ad. It was so much fun. When I got paid, I went to Mom and told her I wanted to take her out for dinner, but she seemed so occupied.
That's very nice, honey, but I have to go out with your sister tonight. She got 15th position in her class in the exams.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, I'll come too.
Well, you know how she is. She said it's a mom-daughter thing only. We'll go out some other time. I hope that's all right.
Sure. It was pretty clear that Jennifer was more important to her than me. Mom never made the time to go out with me, even as I finished high school and moved out to my own apartment. After a few years, I started to get lots of attention for my singing, and people were totally loving it. I worked hard, and eventually I got a huge show in New York. I was so psyched about it and invited Mom and Jennifer, but minutes before I was supposed to start, Mom said they couldn't come. When I got on stage and saw the crowd and the 2 empty seats in the front row, I suddenly got really nervous and forgot the lyrics. My brain went blank, and since I was on the stage for so long and still hadn't performed, the audience started booing me. I felt my heart sinking, and then everything went dark. When I woke up, I found myself in the hospital.
That was supposed to be my big break. Everything is ruined now. It's not, Beatrix. You just need to take it slow. Trust me, you'll be on the stage again soon. Everything will be okay.
I wanted to believe her, but right when I was about to step out of my hospital room, I froze at the door and couldn't move.
Honey, what's the matter?
I don't know. I'm too scared to leave. I hurried back to the bed and refused to move. After talking to the doctor, I was diagnosed with a condition called agoraphobia. It was just like when my dad left. The stage incident triggered the condition I already had but forgot about. It meant I had trouble being in crowds and open spaces. It had been months since I left my home, and Mom was worried sick for me. She suggested I move into the house next to hers. It had been empty for years because the owners had left town. I was fine with it, as long as it was kept locked and I could stay inside. Mom and Jennifer were the only ones allowed in. My stepdad never visited. Jennifer was incredibly understanding, and we grew even closer. Mom came over every day, always spending time and taking care of me. One day, after she left and I was alone, I heard the sound of a door creaking open. I got up to check all the doors in the house and found the back door completely open.
That was weird. I remember locking it.
Soon after that, weird things started happening. Like, once I noticed the stove was on, even after I was sure I had turned it off. And then my shoes went missing. What was happening? Was I going crazy on top of everything else? I told Jennifer, and she thought the unthinkable. Maybe my house was haunted. I didn't want to believe it, but I couldn't explain it. One day, Jennifer brought over a Ouija board. Why did you bring this?
Well, if there is some ghost here, we need to communicate with it and ask what it wants so we can go away.
I wasn't too sold on the idea, but I thought I might as well try. Yeah, just like those stupid kids in horror movies. In just a few minutes, it turned out to be a very bad idea. I thought Jennifer was moving the pointer, but she swore it wasn't her. And it definitely wasn't me. It spelled out, "Get out." Huh. Awesome! I was even more scared now, and I couldn't move or even leave the house. I was stuck. Things died down for a little while. But one day, while I was watching TV, the volume got super loud and the channel changed by itself. I was terrified and ran out of the house without thinking and immediately ran into the most beautiful delivery guy I ever saw.
Are you okay, miss? I thought maybe someone was in your house. I can check if you want.
I just nodded and followed him into the house, and after 10 minutes, he assured me that no one was around and nothing was wrong.
I work around here a lot. If you have any problem, let me know and I'll help you, okay? I'm Easton.
From then on, Easton came to visit me every once in a while. We would sit near my door and talk. I told him about my agoraphobia, and he would bring me things that I couldn't get for myself. He was so thoughtful and sweet. One day, when Easton and I were talking, Jennifer came to visit me. The three of us had a good time. Once he left, I could not stop talking about him. He's so kind and sweet. You know, we like the same pizza, and we both love the Marvel movies and
Bjorn Easton sitting in a tree. Kissing.
No, what are you talking about?
You have a crush on him. It's so obvious.
Oh no, it's true. The day Mom was supposed to meet him, I invited her and Jennifer, but he called and said he had to work late. Mom seemed disappointed. I went to get them some snacks, and when I got back, I overheard Mom and Jennifer talking, and Mom was crying.
I don't know how I can help her. I've never seen her this happy.
But Mom, you should know about it. That Easton does not exist. She's maybe hallucinating, going crazy.
What in the chocolate fudge? Beatrix, honey, what do you mean he doesn't exist? Jen, you saw him.
Bea, I'm sorry, but I didn't. I was pretending for your sake. There was no one there that day.
If Easton wasn't real, then who was I texting a while back?
That was me. I put in my number when you weren't looking.
Could it be true? After everything, I thought maybe she was right. Maybe I really was losing my mind. Mom consoled me for hours until I finally calmed down. Then we made an appointment to meet the doctor the next day to see if I really was going cuckoo. Just a week later, I was trying to get ready when a diary fell out of my cupboard. I went pale when I saw what was written. Easton used to live here? All those years ago? This freaked me out so much that when the doorbell rang, I screamed. I was shaking as I opened the door. But the minute I did, I went pale with fear. It was Easton, standing right in front of me.
Beatrix, I'm sorry for not showing up last week.
Stay away from me. Why are you haunting me?
What do you mean? What's going on?
You're not real. You're my imagination. Or a ghost. That explains all the weird things that's been happening. The stove, the TV, the weird...
What? Of course I'm real. I don't know what you mean.
I began screaming and yelling for Mom. And pretty soon she rushed to me with Jennifer and stepdad following behind her. The minute they saw my frantic state, they went pale, especially Jennifer. Mom, I can see Easton, and I'm scared. I think he's a ghost. Honey, I can see him too.
Of course you can. I'm a real human. What's going on here? I don't understand. Jennifer, we met too. What's going on?
We all turned towards Jennifer, and as if on cue, she began crying and wailing. It was all about Beatrix. She's my mom, too. Ever since she got that condition, she's been with you, not me. I've done things to try to make her angry at you and happy with me, but it never works. Jennifer, how could you do this to your sister? You made her think her house was haunted? It ain't my fault she's so dumb, believing there was some ghost. Stupid Beatrix. How dare you do all of this? All I've been is nice to you. And you're so ungrateful. But Mom, Dad, I did this all because I love you and want you to myself.
Enough. I can't believe you could stoop down to this level, Jennifer. You're the one who has a problem, and this is all my fault. I'm sorry, Beatrix. If I had never behaved that way towards you as a child, Jennifer wouldn't have grown up hating you this way.
Easton just stood there, shocked at the entire situation. After talking to him later, we continued to stay friends. Mom and Dad helped me get through my agoraphobia and get better. Jennifer was sent away for therapy and treatment. With my parents' support, I was able to turn my focus back to music. It took a lot of hard work and dedication, but eventually I was able to start performing again. Mom, stepdad, and Easton were all there in the front row when I went on stage again. And when the show was over, Jennifer surprised me with flowers. She was finally better.
I'm sorry for everything. You were always a great sister. I was selfish.
No more ghost stuff?
Never.
Good. Let's go to my not haunted house and celebrate.